Yo, what's poppin', my people? It's your boy Crooks the Great, aka CTG, and I'm back at you guys. Bro, get up. Yo, what's poppin', my people? It's your big homie Crooks the Great, aka CTG, and I'm back at you guys with another special UFC 5 video. Because in this video, we're going to be breaking down the playstyle of the best UFC 5 player in the world right now, and it is my homeboy Romero XVII. Now, this is fresh off the last breakdown we did of GOAT 1099, so we had to do Romero XVII. So in order to do this, we are going to be breaking down Romero's last fight from the ESFL event that happened last Sunday. And the reason why I like to go with ESFL fights over like video fights and stuff like that is because these fights are broadcasted to a plethora of people. They're broadcast to a lot of people. So you know when these high level guys are getting into these fights, they're not messing around. They're not, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are all about business. They're trying to get their opponent out of there as quick as possible, and they're trying to do it as cleanly as possible. So basically, they're going try hard in these league fights. So that's why I'm breaking down ESFL fights if I can. So like I said, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and break down this fight. Romero's going to be using Dustin Poirier, and he's going to be going up against the newly buffed Max Holloway, the 95, 96 punch speed, 92 punch power Max Holloway. So we're going to go ahead and listen to the commentators talk for a little bit, and then I'm going to pause and break down exactly what I'm seeing that makes Romero so damn good at this game. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Weight division. And, Romero definitely big favorite to win. Like you mentioned, fantastic names all over this card. And they're not even matching up directly against each other, but immediately getting started with high volume affair.
It's going to be interesting. A lot of these guys, if you guys are into competitive UFC 5 gaming, then take a good close look at this fight, because Romero is a bag of tricks. Every time you watch him fight, he's always showing you something new, something unique, something that you didn't even know existed in the game, because he just has that.
All right, now I want to pause it right here because we're about 40 seconds into the fight, and I want you guys to notice the movement. Now, this is something that we talked about in the GOAT 1099 video that GOAT does really, really well. He chops those steps up. He's never moving in long strides. Now, you see with Romero's kind of implementing and doing the same exact thing, except for he is taking about a half step farther back than GOAT 1099 would, but he's using virtually the same movement. And once you get up to a high enough level and you really examine these guys' play styles, you'll find a lot of similarities. So this is one similarity that you guys will see right here between GOAT and Romero, is they chop those steps up. They're never really stepping all the way back out here to reset. They're just stepping out of range for where probably the only thing that could reach them would either be a head kick or a front kick coming up top, but they're going to react to those. So I just wanted to point out that movement is what makes Romero different as well. You don't see a lot of players moving like this. I would say there's probably a handful of people that actually are comfortable with the range to use this type of movement, but it's definitely something that makes Romero really, really unique.
Unlimited knowledge of the game, but so far versatile, coming out good with this Max Holloway pick. Do you see them funky shorts? This one contested a lightweight. Obviously, Max Holloway did have a recent buff, and he is a very viable pick in this weight class. Definitely against Dustin, but 2-0 for versatile. Oh, but never mind in a big. Oh my odds.
Now I want to pause it right there because do you see? I want to point out exactly what Romero was doing right there. He established a rhythm, but instead of letting it play out, he kind of just reacted to it quick. So he got versus style. I think that's this dude's name, versus style. He got him adjusted to, hey, you know what? I'm going to punch. You're going to punch. I'm going to punch. All the meanwhile, he was getting the read for what versus style was throwing, which was primarily straight strikes and a hook right after it. So what happened was he got him comfortable, and in a split second, when versus style threw that jab hook, Romero ducked underneath it, threw a counter lead hook, and then immediately unloaded with hooks while versus style was still in the stunned animation. And that's something right there that makes Romero really, really unique. He made the read really, really fast. He punished, but instead of backing up, resetting, and letting his opponent get time to really read it out, he bombarded him with strikes. And this is something that he uses. If you guys go and check out his videos, he does this to a lot of people off of counters. If he gets you in a stunned animation, he won't stop and back up to regain the stamina. He'll just unload on you and make you feel really, really uncomfortable. And there's a high chance that he's going to knock you down without you ever being able to move your head at all or do anything about it. So very, very high level stuff from Romero. And this is where and why he gets a lot of his finishes, because he's able to change that tempo, gets you established on a rhythm, and then he breaks it really, really fast, and he punishes you right away. He gives you no time to recover. So very, very high level stuff.
The combinations from Romero there, just phenomenal. Versatile come out looking very clean early, but a big moment there, but he's still back. That chin of Max Holloway has held up. He is still here. He is still in this fight, but maybe that's just a little bit of a taste of what Romero can do.
And you see that game knowledge coming in handy. Romero punishing that whip spinning body kick. Knows his position as a game changer. Now, design counsel for the UFC 5 franchise, definitely feeding the developers key feedback and information. He has the little tips and tricks, like you said. Keep an eye out for whatever he will pull off in this fight. Beginning of the fight, great start for him. Got a stun, didn't get the drop. Max Holloway's chin held up, but it was tested early, and we'll have to see if this makes it to the distance or not.
Now, what I like, and I want to point out about Romero is doing right here is he's eliminating the threat, or trying to eliminate the threat of one of the most OP moves right now in the game. And that's why you guys see him throwing a large amount of hooks. He's trying to negate and eliminate the threat of the slip hook. We've already seen Versatile throw out a slip hook. He landed it, but it's not being thrown very frequently because of the amount of hooks that Romero is popping out. And that's a high fight IQ thing, because he knows, hey, you know what? If I'm popping off the jab straights, if I'm popping off the heavy straight that Dustin Poirier does have, the counter to that is going to be the Versatile slip hook, right? So in order to negate that, he's throwing a lot of hooks, and then I would assume he's probably going to start switching it up to throwing the straight strikes. But I just wanted to point that out, because that's something that he's been doing all round long. And to the casual viewers, you guys are probably like, why the hell is he throwing so many hooks? That's why. He's trying to take out the threat of the slip hook before he sets up his combinations and straight strikes.
Oh, but the same trick again, the duck into the hook, and Max Holloway fall into that one again, and Versatile needs to be very, very careful. That duck hook has landed twice, and Romero not really capitalizing too much, but he will be happy to. They will definitely be big points on the scorecards at the end of this first round, as we are 3 minutes through, and a lot of work on the block. A nice slip hook there from Versatile coming forward with his Max Holloway pressure. You know, Max Holloway very dangerous on that block. He can just walk you down. Some great stamina from Max Holloway, some great punch output he can possess, and you know,
Now I want to pause it right here, because this is something that is very, very useful, man, that I love that guys like Romero and GOAT use. They utilize feints so damn well. Romero is not throwing a crap ton of strikes right here. He's literally just using feints to close the distance and to make his opponent think that he's throwing a strike. And if this isn't something that you're using in your own game, after you're done watching this video, go and work on this in practice mode. Work on it, learn how to use them in the course of fights, because if you're able to use it the way that he's using it right now, you're going to get a lot of wins. Because if you see exactly what he's doing with these feints, it's holding Versatile off pretty much. It's not allowing him to throw a high volume amount of strikes like somebody that's using Max Holloway would like to do. It's making him have to think about a threat coming back at all times. He's not, hey, you know what, I can just walk forward, launch a jab at this dude, because he has to worry about, hey, he's ducking down low. Is he going to go down to my body? Is he going to come back up with a hook up top like he hurt me with or earlier in the round. He's doing a lot of different, he's posing a threat with a lot of different things off of these feints. And it's something that I don't see a lot of people using, but that can be very, very beneficial if you learn how to use it in your own way and in your own game.
Even though two big stunts have come in Romero's favour, not too dissimilar head health. Both of these guys working with, I believe, a cut on the face. But Romero so far working the block into a rear body kick and then a jab straight off of the block for versatile. He is really just working that block, you know, because if he can get Romero into these late rounds, oh, and a nice combo there, digs down to the body, up to the head. Every single one of them strikes landed, jab into the rear hook for Romero. But so far, it's them two big stuns that separate him, but a nice lip hook. And versatile doing very good head health damage here, Crow.
Yeah, absolutely. Versatile snowballing here, just laying on the pressure increasingly. And I have been noticing Romero seems to be favoring that duck. He did get both of his stuns up the duck into that rear hook. Another beautiful hook right there. I have to see if Versatile is able to make a read on Romero's pattern. Oh, nice double slip there to close out the first round. Romero making sure just kind of promote the platanos that are good for.
All right, now that was a very solid first round. And believe it or not, that's a slow round for Romero. No joke. That is a very, very slow round. He didn't throw a lot of volume. He really, really didn't. But he made the reads that he needed to. And even, I think, Pug's List, he pointed out Romero was favoring that duck. But that's because Versatile didn't throw any uppercuts. He didn't really throw any uppercuts. He was trying to close the distance with the good old jab hook that you see everybody in ranked championships doing to try to get stuns. You know what I'm saying? So Romero knows that. So he ducked underneath the jab hook and he took away a lot of those slip hooks. Yes, he got hit a couple of times with slip hooks still. You're not going to be able to cancel out all of them. But he did a good job of neutralizing a lot of what the meta is in UFC 5. So great job. Really, really great job.
For the soul.
And a very good round there for Romero. You know, probably took a little bit more head health damage than he wanted. But you know, he's used to this. He's been in these big fights before where you've been rocked, you've been stunned, and you took a lot of head health damage. So that won't deter him too much, that head health damage. Two big stuns on the board for himself, respectively. So he'll be happy securing that round. Stamina looks pretty in a good position for Romero there with a significant stamina advantage that's noticeable. But you know, another good round of work in the block and the head health. This third round could be getting very interesting for this Max Holloway pick. So jab off the block and then a slip hook, nice back step.
Now I want to point out exactly what he just did right there because that was absolutely nasty. And a lot of you guys probably didn't even notice when he did that if you watched it live. And if you just watched it right now. He went down to the... he went back and literally slipped a returning counter hook by minor stepping. Let me repeat that again. He minor stepped a counter hook with the absolute best timing that you could have on PlayStation 5. Not gonna lie. And those are the kind of things that make guys like Romero and GOAT so damn unique because you don't see that. You really don't. Most people, they try to pull counter, they try to slip counter. Nobody hardly ever minor steps like that. But that is a really effective way to avoid a counter hook coming back. He could have literally, if he wasn't holding block, which I don't know if he was or he wasn't at the time, I don't know. But if he had minor stepped that cleanly, he could have popped out a front kick and really murdered Max Holloway's head health. No joke. I just don't think he was really anticipating that hook was actually going to come out, but he did it clean. He did it clean. So that's a very viable thing if you have your opponent's timing down that you can do.
Into the straight, fakes the body kick, doesn't want to let that go, back step into the straight, jab, and a rear hook lands, whiffs the body, double hooks, and a jab hook, and then a jab. And it's interesting that we have not seen Romero even initiate the grappling. We do know how dangerous he is. Probably one of the best understanding.
Now, I want to pause it right here because I really want to point something out that's really, really crucial. Do you notice Romero, when he lands with his one shot, he's doing a lot of damage to Versatile. But when Versatile lands, he's not doing nearly as much damage as Romero is. And the reason why that is because Romero is catching Versatile when his stamina is about right here, 5 to 10%. When he's catching him, it's literally, number one, when Versatile doesn't think that he's going to get hit. So it does more damage because he gets caught in vulnerability. And number two, when you get hit with a heavy shot with low stamina, that plus vulnerability will get you a stun, especially against somebody that hits as hard as Dustin Poirier. That's what the high punch power will really do for you if you know how to use it in UFC 5. But that's the reason why every single time you see Romero hits Versatile with one punch or two punches, he damn near gets a stun every single time. And that's something that Versatile hasn't really picked up on. He hasn't picked up on that's what Romero's doing, but that's an absolutely brilliant game plan. And something that if you don't utilize in your own game, you should highly think about adding. Not gonna lie to you. And the other thing too is Romero is getting hit by one shot. He's getting hit by single shots. He's getting hit by a single hook. He's getting hit by a single jab. He's never allowing Versatile to really get off a clean combination on him. Because he knows in order for Max Holloway to rock or to hurt Dustin Poirier with this amount of stamina on him and this amount of head health, he's going to have to get off a combination. And he knows that's what Versatile wants to do. He wants to hit him with a combination. So he's not allowing him to get off clean combination shots, but in turn allowing him every now and again to get off, to land single shots. There's a little intricacies like that really separate elite level fighters from intermediate to beginner level fighters.
Standing off the ground game with the new submission game that has been brought to us by UFC 5, and a nice combo inside the pocket there for Romero, and just looking very dominant so far, Proden, with a nice backstep straight.
I still have to give a nod to the composure of Versatile, who despite that early rock, still in this fight, trying to make sure he makes use of that Max Holloway gas tank. But Romero in strong position here, heading just about 3 minutes left into that second round. And I believe all of his rocks so far seem to have come off of that rear hook, though he's pretty well talented with that lead hand. We saw a couple double jab to lead upper earlier. We'll have to see how this plays out. And like you said, no grappling so far, though Dustin with a bit of an edge there. But Max Holloway is no slouch either.
Big elbow lands there for Romero. Versatile still pressing forward, but this max pick, the 3 stuns so far in Romero's favour, has not deterred him, and I still think he is doing very good work. He's getting through that block, but we do see now the head health advantage is slightly in Romero's favour, and there we go. Versatile.
That sequence was nasty. I'm just pointing out on both ends, that sequence is nasty. They both pulled each other's pulls. Crazy work, but good job on Romero's part for knowing that was coming. That's scouting right there. That's scouting and watching your opponent and knowing what the hell he's going to try to do.
Has caught onto that read where he does throw that rear hook. Romero does try to counter it with a duck hook, and he ducks it himself, but a nice jab hook does land there.